hands down, this is hands down the hypest shit I've watched in some time, especially when it comes to a sports series. Chigiri and just the unleashing of the beast, that's kind of like the core theme of this show, is each person kind of like finding the monster within and just annihilating everyone else in their path. It is so beautiful to witness the chaos that is the Blue Lock situation, and to see how they get around such impossible situations at face glance. You have a backstabber last week. Holy shit. I mean, what happens when you win? They just stick around? What happens if you lose? Like, there's just so much that felt impossible to deal with. And then they bring up the concept of a tie. Well, if they end up tying, then they'll just have to face another team sort of a thing, which at that point, it goes from impossible to just highly unlikely that you'll be able to survive. And then here comes the monster and, gotta go fast Sonic style. And holy shit, man. Now, there's a full live reaction available on the Patreon if you're interested in. This is some of the most excited I've been watching a single episode of anime. I'm constantly just throughout watching this, just so blown away by the quality of this. Not only do you get that backstory of these two brothers who are just such scumbags, they have their tongues out. The one brother doesn't even speak, he grunts like a goddamn pig. Literally, the only sound that came out of the one brother's mouth, seriously something that sounds exactly like a pig when it grunts. It's just, they're such animals, and to see just the backstory of how he ended up breaking his leg in the way that he did, that shit was some of the most detailed and grotesque leg snap that I've personally seen in anime. The sound effect they use, it was bone chilling when you listen to it with headphones because it sounded realistic as if you snapped your own bone, but it's the way they bent it and the fact of the aftermath. There's just so much about it that pisses you off, and it makes you feel like, I can't wait for a character like Chigiri to come in and save the day. I was just expecting that he would save the day and then break his leg and he would have to be removed from the tournament. I was expecting worst case scenario. They ended up winning. We lose Chigiri but have to keep the traitor sort of a thing, but as it stands, he's seemingly gonna be sticking around until that leg does break. And honestly, I love what Blue Lock's doing for characters because each of them has the potential to be the top striker. And that's something I've been praising for a bit here, but I love how when each character gets their moment, right? The monster gets unleashed and you say, holy shit, that is the best skill. You can see how each of them could be the last man standing. I still think as a whole, Isagi has the most potential with the way he can smell a goal, see a goal, predict a goal sort of a thing. I think he has the most potential long term, but in the moment you can make an argument how any of them could end up being there depending on how they play and how they evolve. It's just, as it stands, the most useful as long as the leg doesn't give out. I think Chigiri steals the show. How many times have you seen a player pass the ball to themselves? He is so goddamn fast. He's Usain Bolt, man. He literally kicks it, sprints to it, kicks it again. And the way he gets that goal with just the tip of his toe, that is some of the coolest shit I've ever seen in anime. I'm not even just limiting this shit to just sports series. I'm saying period. That was some insane shit. He's like an Olympic sprinter, but who's playing soccer right now. This shit's amazing. And I love the fact that they're making you like all the characters, or they're making you hate all the characters. It is so easy to despise characters in this show, whether it's the scumbags with their snake tongues out, or the, just the snake face betrayer, and to see him get kicked at the end, I mean, it was so satisfying, even though it got cut a little too short for my liking. But the general characters on our team here, right, ignoring Trader Joe, I love the fact that you can make an argument how each of them could end up becoming your favorite character at some point. Now, we're still early into the show. We can't do that if we're anime only like I am. But based on characters like Chigiri, who I had no real interest in prior to last week, I was like, every character could become the best character or one of the best characters in time. But after last week, I saw the potential and the possibilities. And after this episode, one of my favorite characters that we've currently interacted with. I think the trio that is the most interesting is Isagi, Batra, as well as Chigiri. I think those three have an interesting dynamic that could very much help propel the other monsters from within everyone to unleash and become just devastating. And I'm excited to see, because unlike, I think, the connection that Batra and Isagi have developed at this point, there's more of a rivalry when it comes to him and Isagi, but I like the fact that Chigiri he's not hostile, right? He's not an asshole about things. It's more so, I had the determination to surpass you since you had the nerve to push me down because I was ready to give up. And he sees himself, his younger self, that is, in someone like Isagi, and it makes you really hyped up. It makes you excited, but it makes it feel like it's so well thought out. At first I was a little confused because we saw the backstory at the start of the episode. So these two knew about his insane speed. You then have them being like, why didn't you tell us about his talent? At first I was like, what the hell are you talking about? We saw you in the flashback, you knew about his talent, and then I kind of clued into they were still under the assumption he couldn't sprint that fast, and it all kind of clicked for me. But I just love what this episode did. It was my most anticipated episode of the week, and it somehow has made me even more excited for future episodes. And I've been hyping up this show. I've had comments being like, damn, the way you hype this show up, you must be a source reader. But it's like, no, like this show is just that good as an anime only. I can only begin to imagine, reading these pages in a manga and seeing the absolute passion being put in. Like the fact that when you look at the speed of human Sonic, it actually felt like we were watching something that was going as fast as lightning. It was like a lightning strike. It was so fast. It was so just crazy with how they're detailing it. But when you take a step back, you realize, no, he's just an insanely fast human. So it still feels realistic and grounded for what we're seeing. It's just with anime flair, they can make it more exciting than a general match of soccer for a non-sports fan. And that's exactly what Blue Lock is doing, and doing it with a 10 out of 10 production, if you ask me. Like, the music in this show legitimately gives me goosebumps. Like, when they kick in and you hear the heavy riffs start going, you know damn well we're about to see a monster. We're about to see a player do something we haven't seen before, or they're about to turn the tides of a match. And like, when Chigiri finally got up and broke free from those chains, and the riffs started going, goosebumps, hair on my arm, standing up, and just to see it come to fruition. I love how they make them feel like they're at a disadvantage, right? We know damn well this team is not the best overall that Blue Lock currently has to offer. They have a hell of a long way to go. But it doesn't stop these moments of excellence, of seeing key players, key people make these moves that let them stand tall and say there is so much potential. And you would think there's probably the most potential on this team out of any of the others. But not to say the other teams aren't obviously talented. We get a moment where our backstabbing Joe decides to try to do the same damn play, and they're having none of it. And they're showing, they've had 5 goals, 7 goals. Like, the one dude who had 7 goals looks like the most unenthusiastic person, probably just saves his energy for the matches. Like, we know damn well there is an insane amount of talent that they need to beat, and I think that's why this plan of backstabbing is going to be worse than saving your skin like he was initially planning, because say you do end up surviving a round in the way that he tried to, right? Eventually, you're going to go up against players who are 10 times more talented than you, and because you didn't hone your skills and push yourself to the limit early on, you're going to be completely underdeveloped, and you're going to be matched in such an unfair way that you're going to stand no chance. So it's better to go down fighting than to cheat your way to the top and then not be able to cross the finish line because you've been getting around by pretending you're amazing when you really aren't, right? But it's going to be exciting, man. This is truly their last shot. They already felt like their last shot, and it was supposed to be their last shot, but that tie-breaking goal, or the tie goal, I should say, because tie-breaking would mean that they broke it and they actually won, but the tie goal allowed them to push on one last time, and damn well they got to win, but it's a matter of how they end up doing it that has me eager for more. But thoughts and feelings down below, leave a like if you enjoyed, and of course subscribe if you're new around here. You can also consider supporting the Patreon. Like I mentioned, we got a full live reaction to today's episode, and you can also get fun perks like video shadows like a few are getting today. We got Unoriginal Name, Zophis, and Skarsky. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care and have a good one.